It's midday. Hello, good afternoon to you, and welcome to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. The news is also live on all our partner stations across the country and around the world. We are live on citynewsroom.com. My name is Hawa Idrisu, and this afternoon I'm here with
Kweku Ediamansa.
Coming up, Pension Bond Holders Forum continue to picket at the Finance Ministry to demand their exemption from the Domestic Debt Exchange Program as government grants a 3-day administrative window for bond holders to complete tendering processes.
There are many people who want to come with their wheelchairs, but we say no, it's so risky, don't come. Let a few people who can come do that. So we are praying that every day we will get at least, like, even if it's 10, we will come.
Meanwhile, government says 50% of bondholders have so far signed up for the program.
So as of yesterday, when we decided to extend and give that administrative window, we have done about 50%.
Also coming up, supporters of the NDC in the Ashanti region mass up at the Regional Police Command as party leadership hands over Swami Constituency Youth Organizer to the police for investigations into his alleged inciting of violence. Still ahead, staff of the Northern Electricity Distribution Company partially withdraw their services in demand for the removal of the company's managing director, Osman Ayuba.
The more we delay this process, the more NEDCO is bleeding, so to speak. So we think that as staff, we need to take action for the appointing authority to do what is right for NEDCO.
And later, Narcotics Control Commission destroys 50 tons of cannabis intercepted since 2021 with a market value of 50 million cedis.
These we're destroying today are cases where intelligence led us to go to places and intercepted.
All that and more on Citi Prime News, which is also live on all our affiliates across the country. Western region, we are live on Beach FM 105.5 in Takrady, Bono region, Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyain, Ashanti region, Focus FM 94.3 on KNUST campus in Kumasi, Orange FM 107.9 also in Kumasi, Volta region, we are live on Revival FM 99.3 in Tajeu, Cool FM 103.5 in Ho, Northern region, we are live on Radio Bimbila 91.9 in Bimbila, Upper East, Tanga FM 93.7 in Bolgatanga, Upper West, we are live on Tunsong FM 97.3 FM in Wa and Jrapa FM 96.1 in Jrapa.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
We are grateful for choosing us. Now, for the third consecutive time, pensioner bond holders have picketed at the Finance Ministry demanding for government to exempt their investment from the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. Government has proposed a 15% coupon rate, but the group of about 30 retirees converged on the ministry and sang patriotic Ghanaian songs. They told Citi News they will not accept any cut to the return on their investment as their livelihood are dependent on the proceeds from these investments. Here are some of the bondholders speaking to Citi News.
Health, if I can't buy my medication, I will die. So I'm not worried for my health. If I don't come and I can't buy my medication, I will die.
So you'd rather come and jeopardize your health?
It's not jeopardize. If I can't buy the medication, that is more jeopardy than sitting under a tree.
We don't have the strength, but the little strength that we have, we will use it. We are only praying to God that He should allow us, give us strength every day to come here to sit for that 1 hour. That's why we brought our seats. If you can't stand, you sit down. There are many people who want to come with their wheelchairs, but we say no, it's so risky, don't come. Let a few people who can come do that. So we are praying that every day we will get at least, like, even if it's 10, we will come. And I believe out of the over 450 that we have on the platform that knows what we are doing, we will always get some number who will be capable to stand here or sit here for 1 hour and go. so
Have you
that
had
nobody
any
is
communication from the ministry since yesterday or from any government quarters?
No, we haven't had any communication from the ministry. The only thing we and everybody has heard is that they have extended the period. And I think the good news also that we heard from Parliament yesterday was that Parliament has summoned the minister to appear and lay all these things before the Parliament.
Those were some pensioner bond holders who are currently picketing at the Finance Ministry, demanding government to exempt them from the domestic debt exchange program. Let's go over to the Finance Ministry and speak to my colleague Charles Owusu-Kumi. Good afternoon to you, Charles. Thanks for your time. Now, yesterday the number is about 30. Is it the same as today?
Hello?
Hello, Charles. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, how I can hear you.
Yes, yesterday you mentioned to us that the numbers had reduced. Is it the same as we have now?
It was just about the same as yesterday, about 30 people. Of course, it had reduced from the 50 that came the very first day, which was on Monday. Essentially, they're singing the same tune. They want complete exemption from the domestic debt exchange program. And they will say they'll continue to do this picketing every working day of the week until their demands are met. So 30 of them today came singing patriotic songs. They brought some seats though, because most of them are elderly people getting into the twilight of their years. Some of them you can see they are physically unhealthy, but they say they would, at the risk of their health, they will continue to come there every morning until the government decides to completely exempt them. What they tell us is that government is asking them to take a cut, but they don't really see any efforts by government and other people in society to take the same. They're asking government to cut expenditure. They've not seen anything like that. The individual bondholders have proposed certain expenditure cuts to government, but they have not seen government making efforts like this. So they don't understand why they're the ones who are retired and are the most vulnerable are supposed to take the cuts and help Ghana revive its economy, as has been asked by the finance minister of them.
Very well, Charles. Now, deadline for the program has ended. Yesterday, the ministry issued a statement saying that there's been a 3-day administrative window for tendering processes for these bondholders. Is this something they would look into, as we have about some 48 hours to the deadline again for the administrative window?
So for them, they have nothing to do with this deadline. They say if they wanted to join the program, they would have already. What we're hearing is that the ministry is preparing to propose new terms to these pensioners. Maybe if that is done in time and they look at the terms and they realize that they have accepted them, then they may be forced to go and sign up to the program. Otherwise, the decision they have made is final. They will not sign up to the domestic exchange as in its current form. Because they say the proceeds they get from their investment are what they rely on. Most of these people, retirees, they don't have any, and they don't work, they don't have any other income. And these are the money they use in paying their rent, for their medical bills, for drugs. And so any single cut in these proceeds from these investments is inimical to their livelihood, and they are not prepared to make any concessions at all.
Very well, grateful for your time. That was my colleague Charles Owusu-Kumi reporting from the Finance Ministry, where the pensioner bondholders have for the third time picketed at the ministry demanding government exempt them from its domestic debt exchange program. We can now hear from a Deputy Finance Minister.
Now, the Finance Minister, Abna Asari, says that 50% of bondholders have so far signed on to the program. Now, her comment, we know, is on the back of government's 3-day window given to bondholders who had technical challenges signing on to the DDE to complete the process. Speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, Abna Asari says government will know the full number of bondholders signed onto the program by Friday.
With the administrative window, we are hoping to hit it. But yesterday, when we decided to extend and give that administrative window, we have done about 50%. But we are hopeful because I believe that we all want our economy to get better. We want to move from where we are to a situation where inflation rate can come down again. The exchange rate compared to the other foreign currencies will be relatively stable. And the macros will start working again, the economy will start, moving and working again. And so let's all work together and make sure this happens. And I believe that Ghanaians have listened and Ghanaians have supported, and that is why we see that level of we have already seen that level of contribution outside at 4 p.m. yesterday, and we are hoping for the best.
So you had the Deputy Finance Minister, Abna Asari, speaking.
Now, staff of the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, have partially withdrawn their services at all its operational areas effective today. The industrial action is due to failure of the Board of Directors to meet the demand of the staff for calling for the removal of the Managing Director, Osman Aludiba Ayuba, after several engagements. Currently, all field services have been suspended except emergency situations and power vending. Speaking to Citi News on the withdrawal, the chairman of the Senior Staff Association of NEDCO, William Kwame Asari, said they will not rescind their decision until the managing director is removed.
We have explained the reasons why we think there's a need for change in leadership. The board appears to agree with us. In fact, they say they're also concerned about the financial health of NEDCO. The last time we met them, they informed us that they are not the appointing authority, so they informed the appointing authority. But the more we delay this process, the more NEDCO is bleeding, so to speak. So we think that as staff, we need to take action for the appointing authority to do what is right for NEDCO. Yeah, Mr. Ayuba was brought in 2019, ostensibly to help turn around our finances. At the time, the board informed us that the problem in NEDCO is financial, it's not engineering. So they are bringing somebody with a financial background to help turn around our finances. If you take our financial performance within 2019 up to date, it has deteriorated. If you take our finances, as of September, look, it's terribly bad. To the extent that we are unable to pay our third party. In Bolga, for example, our contractors went on strike because work that they have done on behalf of NEDCO from January up to December, we were not able to pay. That is how bad our performance has been. Look, in terms of our revenue mobilization, everybody knows that prepaid meters aid in revenue mobilization. The whole of last year, check from Techiman, Sunyane, Bolgawa, not a single prepaid meter was deployed. Rather, the meters that we had removed when we brought the smart meters were the meters we were washing and cleaning to send back to our customers. That is the state of NEDCO.
That was the chairman of the Senior Staff Association of NEDCO, William Kwame Asari.
Now, 9 illegal miners are currently in police custody at the Kibi Divisional Police Command after they invaded the Samandraso, a portion of the Tiwa Forest Reserve, to engage in Galamsey. A 13-member forestry guard during a field monitoring activity chanced on these illegal miners who had pitched camp within the forest reserve. Now, the team noticed that more than 0.5 hectares of the forest reserve had been destroyed by the 9 illegal miners who had dug several trenches. Now, the Kibi Divisional Forestry Manager, Emmanuel Entry, who confirmed the arrest to Citi News, says the suspects will be arraigned today.
Yesterday, per our field monitoring activities, my guys were able to chance upon some members or some people from the Saman Draso community who were doing illegal mining in the Saman Draso portion of the Atiwa Forest Reserve. My 13-member team were able to apprehend 9 of these suspects, and these suspects were brought to the Chebi police station. Because it was evening, these suspects were left there to be processed today. As I speak with you, We are making provisions to visit the police station and to make sure that all these culprits, all these suspects are taken to courts for prosecution. Altogether, where they were arrested, they were seen to have destroyed about 0.5 of a hectare. And the devastation is really, really not what we had anticipated. We are taking this opportunity to sound a note of caution to all these forest fringe communities and everybody that the forest reserve is a no-go area, and therefore we are not expecting to see anybody to carry out these illegal activities in the forest reserve. When they are caught, the law will be made to take its full course.
So you have there the Kibbe District Forestry Manager, Emmanuel Ng.
The majority in Parliament has assured of a collaboration with the new leadership of the Minority Caucus in the execution of government business in the House. This comes after the new leaders of the minority group, led by Dr. Kayse Olatufosin, officially commenced their work in Parliament on Tuesday. During an engagement with the Parliamentary Press Corps by leadership of Parliament, the Majority Leader, Osechi Mensah Bones, reiterated that a cordial relationship with the minority side in the House does not constitute a compromise.
We're working to some determined principle to grow our parliament and our democracy. I was saying that when I was a minority leader and Cletus was the majority leader, anytime he came to Kumasi, he would give me prior information. And in the evening, we'll meet at a location and then give ourselves a good treat. I had not sold out to the majority at the time. Equally so for back then when he was a majority leader. And you all do know that I even went to his backyard to speak for him. I had not sold out to the majority at the time. But we needed really to grow Parliament. And that's the kind of relationship that I had with Haruna.
We had Majority Leader Osechi Mensah Bones. Now, some supporters of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, in the Ashanti region have gathered at the Regional Police Command as party leadership hands over the Swami Constituency Youth Organizer to the police. This was after the police launched a manhunt for the NDC Swami Youth Organizer, Razak Kawumpa, for inciting political violence. The leadership of the NDC in the Ashanti region yesterday met the police and agreed to collaborate with them to enforce law and order.
Went to see the regional police commander yesterday to have a discussion about the viral video. After our discussion, he said we should bring him today. So today we sent him to the regional police headquarters. And the crime officer directed that the said youth organizer is under Swami division. So he prefers to bring him to the Sofolai divisional headquarters. So we have to now redirect to Sofolai divisional headquarters. So currently he's with the crime officer. They are cautioning him, he's writing his statement. And if possibly there's time, we might go to court today. So
I've seen a whole lot of executive from national to regional. I thought this act was condemned from the top. Why this huge support for this gentleman?
If you are saying that the act was condemned, that doesn't mean that it's no more an NDC member. And as you are talking about, it's a constituency executive officer, so it's no more a mere person in the party. We have to support our youth organization.
That was the Ashanti Regional First Vice Chair of the NDC, Captain Kwame Jabari. Let's go live to the region and speak to my colleague, Hafiz Tijani. Good afternoon to you, Hafiz. Thanks for your time. Now, are they still at the Central Police Command?
Well, they have moved from the Central Police Command to the Central Police Command because of jurisdictional issues relating to police work. We are told that the suspect has been directed by the regional police crime officer to be brought here at the Central Police Command to write his statement. Currently, he's writing his statement in the offices of the Central Police Command.
We understand members of the NDC have gathered, so it means they moved from the Central Police Command to the Central Police Command. How has the police been managing these numbers, and are there quite a number?
Well, police officers are taking guard at the main entrance of the Central Police Command. A while ago, when we were at the Central Police Command, police officers had also done same. But we are also learning that even as the party supporters moved from the Central Police Command to the Central Police Command, other party supporters are going to the Central Police Command upon hearing the news that the regional executives and the national executives will be leading the youth organizer for the Swami constituency of the NDC to meet the police. And currently, we are also told that the police is also preparing a docket, so he could be arraigned today at the court, but that has not been finalized. Those processes are still in place.
Vayo, what was the demeanor of the suspect as he was taken to the command that is from Central to Suntreso?
Well, he didn't come to the Central Police Command. It was the supporters who gathered there. So when some of the executives came to the Central Police Command, they were giving that communication. So from there, the vehicle he was in moved him to the Central Police Command. He had not reached the Central Police Command.
Who is leading this NDC team in the Ashanti region?
Well, we have the regional executives, including Captain Kwame Jabari, who is the first vice chairman of the party. I have seen also the regional organizer of the party, Alassane Isham, and I have also seen the deputy secretary of the region. And for national executives, I have seen the deputy general secretary of the NDC and the national organizer of the NDC, Joseph Yamin.
Very well, most grateful for your time. Make sure to keep our listeners updated on what happens at the Suntreso police station. That was our Ashanti regional correspondent, Hafiz Tijani, bringing us up to speed where the Swami youth organizer of the NDC is currently before the Suntreso police being investigated for allegedly inciting election violence in a viral audio. Kweku will bring us our next story.
So stay on that particular subject a while longer, because the Ashanti Regional Youth Wing of the New Patriotic Party has also condemned comments made by the Swami youth organizer of the NDC. In a statement signed by the Ashanti Regional Youth Organizer of the NPP, Raphael Patrick Safo, he called on the National Peace Council and the Christian and Muslim community to also condemn the act.
You are still listening to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Still ahead, Narcotics Control Commission destroys 50 tons of cannabis intercepted since 2021 with a market value of 50 million cedis. We have details of that, plus other stories coming up shortly. Please don't go away.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, the Narcotics Control Commission has seized and destroyed cannabis weighing about 50 tons with a market value of 50 million cedis. The seized cannabis were mainly intercepted from the eastern and Volta regions through intelligence gathering efforts by operatives. Speaking to Citi News, the Public Affairs Director of the Commission, Francis Opoku Amwa, said efforts are being made to curb the illicit trade and use of the prohibited substance until such a time when the country is ready to legalize it. He mentioned that 5 people are standing trial for engaging in the trade of cannabis.
These we're destroying today are cases where intelligence led us to go to places and intercepted. And also sometimes the drivers will just abandon the truck and run away. So what we're doing currently, per my information, there are no suspects to it. But the ones that will do investigations are still ongoing, which is leading us to likely people to be arrested.
That was the Public Affairs Director of the Narcotics Control Commission, Francis Opoku Amwa. Let's go over the phone lines and speak to my colleague, Fred Iduho, who is currently with the team. Good afternoon to you, Fred. Thanks for your time. Now, where did this operation happen?
Good afternoon, Howard. Please come again with your question.
I'm asking where the team is currently.
Currently, we just finished with the exercise, and the exercise is to destroy a large consignment of cannabis that was intercepted by the Narcotics Control Commission over the period since 2021 till date. And this quantity is about 50 tons of cannabis. If you convert that to kilogram, that should be about 50,000 kilograms of cannabis. That through the intelligence and some form of basic exercise, the NARCOC has been able to intercept over the period. And they went to we actually went to the Bundasi military zone this morning, that is within the Pampram enclave, to actually set fire to all this substance that was intercepted. This was done actually in conjunction with Standard Authority. The EPA was also present, and other international state agencies who are mainly stakeholders were equally part of this exercise to ensure the successful destruction of these substances.
Well, the Public Affairs Director mentioned that these were intercepted from the Volta and Eastern regions. What do they intend to do to curtail this illegality in these two regions that they have mentioned?
He mentioned that the Volta region and the Eastern region are mainly a fertile ground for growing or cultivating these kind of substances. And in as much as it remains illegal on our books, they would also put in every effort to ensure that they get rid of these substances from the economy or the country. But one thing he mentioned keenly was that they are now shifting from mainly moving around to intercept these substances, and again adding the responsibility of setting up a fund that would go a long way to also ensure that those who have abused this substance over time and are currently hooked onto this kind of substances go through a certain level of rehabilitation when the court decides as such. So this whole thing of narcotics, he believes the Eastern and Volta region has become a fertile ground where this is normally cultivated. And this 50 tons was actually intercepted from these two regions.
Now, he also mentioned that 5 people are currently standing trial for engaging in the trade of cannabis. Do we know how far investigations have gone with these 5?
The numbers were actually 7 from the start, but according to the Public Affairs Director, 7 of them have been acquitted and discharged, and 5 are currently standing trial, and the 5 are not in any way connected to this particular consignment that were destroyed some few minutes ago, but they were also connected to other substances that were intercepted somewhere along the previous years. So he believes these people would be before court, and when the court finds them guilty, they may be sentenced and their properties confiscated, and that would serve as a deterrent. And these are all geared towards getting rid of the abuse and the use of these substances, or even the engaging in trade of these kind of substances in the country. As far as it stands now, the court or the Supreme Court has actually not concluded with this judgment on the fact that whether the cultivation of herb is permissible by law or on our books. So he mentioned that until the rules or the laws permit it, they would keep fighting this sort of crimes because they remain illegal in the country. And when he also believes that, yes, these kind of herbs, they have a lot of use in terms of medicinal use. It can be used in cream, used for other products. It has multi users. And we can't really discount the fact that it comes with a lot of money if any country decides to legalize it. But in as much as it remains illegal, they as a commission would also continue with their mandate to get rid of them from the streets and from every corner they can as possible.
Most grateful for your time. Freddie Ho is my colleague here at Citi FM and Citi TV, currently with a team from NACOC, who we understand have seized and destroyed cannabis weighing about 50 tons with a market value of 50 million cedis. Kweku, what's next?
Now, the Ghana Police Service says the autopsy report on the cause of death of 32-year-old Shadrach Alo has been presented to the Attorney General for advice. Now, the 32-year-old died after a scuffle with some police officers at the West Hills Mall last week. Eyewitnesses at the scene said the deceased swallowed an unknown substance which he pulled out of his bag when the police attempted to search him. Now, the police says the substance has since been proven to be cannabis. However, the family says it will sue the police for the poor handling of the case, which contributed to the death of the deceased. Caleb Kuda has been speaking to the lawyer of the family, Francis Xavier Susu.
So we've been speaking to lawyer for the family of Shadrach, who went and saw the autopsy process. Indeed, he describes it as traumatizing as the body of the deceased was dismembered. What's relevant is the fact that as the police suspected, Shadrach, the deceased, had indeed swallowed a substance covered in a black polythene bag that had pellets of what the clinicians say is weed. However, lawyer Francis Xavier says that the victim is innocent until proven guilty and that the conduct of the police officers contributed to his death. Therefore, the state, the Attorney General, the Ghana Police Service will be sued through the Attorney General.
If you're a police officer and somebody you are attempting to arrest, attempts to swallow something, and you have the chance to arrest the person, what's the first thing you have to do? You take him to the nearest hospital and get the thing removed and use it as an evidence against the person. That's what you do. Because you don't know what it is, whether it's poisonous or it could kill him or it would not kill him or whatever it is, you don't know. So that's the first thing you have to do. You don't put him in handcuffs, allow people to beat him up and use tasers on him until he went unconscious on the floor and sent to the nearest hospital and was pronounced dead on arrival. This is a case that charges might be pressed against the police officers because their action caused and contributed to cause the event. When you look at the sections on intent, you go to, I think, section 11 of Act 29, it talks about intent, and it's so clear. And, there are times that when you act, if you have acted reasonably, it would have occurred to you that what you are doing could cause or contribute to cause the event. As we speak now, what they all did both caused and contributed to cause the death of the person.
West Hills Mall, the scene where Shadrach lost his life or where he was attacked leading to his death, will also be sued according to the lawyer. Not only that, bystanders, including a detective who filmed the process, will also be sued. Why is that the case?
Facility is not exonerated because a number of the people seen in that video were people who works for the facility. And so beyond the criminal charge that we are pushing that must be brought against all these people who were involved, we are looking forward to actually institute a civil action against both the facility and the Attorney General or the Ghana Police Service for, the appropriate either compensation or appropriate remedies so we can bring some closure to this very important case. All the people who were involved, including the people who were watching, because all of them could pass for abettors and people who might have, assisted. Because when you see somebody, being treated in that manner, and you all stand up and you are just excited, including even those who took the videos. Because there is one sergeant or one person who claimed to be a sergeant who took those videos, and he's even refusing to release an entire video. Already, he himself could be a suspect in this matter. Because if you are police officers and this is how you can treat and this is how you can perform your professional duty, then nobody in Ghana is safe.
Not only is the lawyer seeking compensation for the family, but he believes that this legal process will put the Ghana Police Service to test and hold them to the highest standard so such incidences do not recur.
If their work, their negligence, or the lack of, due care could lead to the death of an innocent person, because you see, he still remains innocent, because until a court of competent jurisdiction declares that he is guilty of any offense, he's still innocent. It doesn't matter whether he was holding a weed or whatever he may be holding or whatever you may suspect him to be, because even at that stage, even if you had arrested him, you probably would have actually handed him to the court, for the court to decide his fate. But in this case, you just ended his life for nothing.
For City News, I am Caleb Kuda.
We turn our attention to some other stories, and the lives of commuters on the Accra-Kumasi Highway have been put at risk as illegal miners in the Fantiakwa South District of the Eastern Region take their activities just 5 meters away from the main highway. The illegal miners who operate late in the night have dug huge trenches at Osino on the highway. A visit to the site by the leadership of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners today revealed deep hollow cracks and holes filled with water from the Brim River. Now, speaking to City News on the development, General Secretary of the association, Godwin Ama, described the situation as unfortunate.
These guys have mined closer to even 5 meters to the road. When it rains and we've not reclaimed, it will wash the face and it may affect the road, which will endanger motorists. And this is a main road that commutes passengers from Accra to Kumasi. You know, Accra and Kumasi, that's where we have a lot of comments. So we need to work hard to ensure that we reclaim this place to prevent further washing of this road. So that's what we are going to do. And our president said we'll sit down and see our best. We'll mobilize some of our members who have their dozers and all that to ensure that we reclaim the place. And we'll talk to DC, because the DC is also supporting us. Just last 2 days, the task force came and they made some arrests here, where the DC called us to support them to ensure that that side is also not devastated. So you can see, this is the work of illegal miners. But the association is collaborating with the Minerals Commission and then the Ministry of Finance to ensure that we clear the Brim River. These are tributaries to the Brim River. You can see these rivers have been diverted off their course.
General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, Godwin Ama, speaking there. Meanwhile, the District Chief Executive of Fantiakwa, Ernest Ofosu, who described the development as challenging, says the issue has been reported to the Nyinem District Police Command for further action.
We don't reclaim these lands. You see that when it rains, water will get stuck in these pits. People will go to farm and they don't know what happens. You have some reports or areas whereby you see some people getting drowned in these mining pits. And so now that we have small-scale mining task force trying to help us fight this illegal mining, it is a good work that they are doing.
We just visited a site where these illegal miners have dug trenches very close, about 5 meters away from the main highway. How worried are you by this trend, and what do you intend to do as the head of DISEC?
We have met over this. It is out of this meeting that we wrote a letter to the district police commander, because we observed that they operate in the night. So in the morning, you pass by, they don't see anybody there, but you see that some people have mined here. So we wrote to the commander to help us with his night patrol teams. So anytime they get there in the night and they see people hiding there mining, then they should get them arrested.
District Chief Executive for Fantiakwa, Ernest Ofosu there.
Let's now take you to the Weja-Gbawe municipal area, where the assembly has begun dredging the source of the Weja Dam that connects the river. Now, the exercise, according to the assembly, started at the old Weja here in Accra. Let's go over the phone lines and speak to the Municipal Chief Executive for Weja-Gbawe, Patrick Kumo. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thanks for your time. Now, the dredging, we know, forms part of plans to stop flooding in these areas around the dam. How far have you gone with that?
Yeah, good afternoon to you, and also good afternoon to your cherished listeners. I believe, as you already know, Weja-Gbawe is one area that is mostly challenged when it comes to the spillage of the dam and also any downpour. So what normally the assembly does is that we move in early to
the silt and dredge areas that needs to be handled before the rain sets in. So this very morning, we visited areas that we started with the dredge, which is the New Wager area, which was completed yesterday. We are currently at the Kokojo area, which is at the old barrier section, which also needs to be dredged. Then from there, we'll be going on to the Bale area, and then we'll take care of other areas as well. But then we have some major areas that needs to be attended to, which we are also calling on government, that is the central government, to come in to support, more especially around the Akala area. You know, the Akala area, we share boundary with Gasol, and that is where mostly when it gets flooded, it moves into the Wijabawi area in the SEC area. Though government is constructing a very big storm drain over there, we will urge the contractor to speed up so that before the rain sets in, at least that section can carry most of the water or the water into the sea. But then, let me say, this year is going to be a very tough year for us all. Whatever that is happening at the national level will also trickle down to the local level, i.e. now the Assembly has ceded its revenue, that is the property rate, to GRA, which they are also now working to get those monies to come in. So before that process stabilizes, the Assembly now will be a bit was cash trap, but then whatever needs to be done from the other revenue sources is what we are using currently to salvage whatever that is there now. So we will also advise the other association members to come on board. More especially, let me thank the association members at the New Wager area who also came in to support with some funds with the dredging. We really appreciate their contribution. We call it on the other associations, more especially those around the Titegu, the McCarthy South area, the New Wager area, to all come on board so that at least they can also support the Assembly in a way, because government cannot do it all alone. This is the time where we need everybody on board for us to be able to work on this issue so that we don't go into the situation where the situation that happened last. All right. We're also looking forward to having a partner, a private company, coming in to help with the dredging of the Densu downstream that goes through to through to Tetegu to the sea, so that at least when Ghana Water even has to open its spillways, we wouldn't have a lot more water going into the community. So these are the steps that we are taking currently to make sure this year we'll be able to have our people have some relief moving forward.
Very well. Now, flooding, one of the causes of flooding is buildings which are on waterways. Does the Assembly intend to demolish buildings which are on the waterways to prevent floods, apart from desilting the dam, which when it overflows, its bungees contribute to the flooding in these communities?
Yes. So last year when the incident happened, some structures were marked for demolition. Putting human face to it, we gave them some ample time to relocate so that those structures can be pulled down. But as I speak to you, even going around this morning, we still realize that people are still occupying those structures. But what I assure them is that before the end of this month, those structures will be pulled down to make way for the free flow of this water anytime the rains come in. We keep advising our developers that government does not take delight in pulling down people's structures, but the right thing needs to be done so that the larger community can also live in peace. A few people cannot block the free flow of these waters. That, at the end of the day, goes to affect the entire community. So those structures will be pulled down in the coming days. You should be rest assured.
Most grateful for your time, Mr. Kumo. Pachi Kumo is the Municipal Chief Executive for Wija, where we understand the Assembly has begun dredging the Wija Dam that connects the river. Now, this will prevent floods as and when they come in. You are still listening to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now, still to come, more than 24 hours after Turkish sources reported that Ghanaian footballer Christian Achu had been rescued from earthquake wreckage, no contact has been established with him. We have more details for you. Please don't go away.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
More. It's something we're promised a lot these days. But what does more actually look like? Well, in Emirates Economy, it's endless entertainment on the biggest screens in the sky plus live sport. That's more. Gourmet cuisine that gives you a taste of your destination, served with free-flowing drinks. That's more. Special meals and toys for kids to keep your little explorers happy. That's more. So whichever way you look at it, more really does mean more in Emirates economy. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
The Heritage Caravan 2023 is officially sold out. Get ready for 7 exciting days of adventure through 14 incredible regions of Ghana with the promise of a rich cultural experience, introspective historical visitations, and exhilarating field days with nature. Prepare for 7 amazing days of a road trip filled with the sights, sounds, and the aura of a diversified people. Get ready because we are going on the expedition of a lifetime to discover Ghana from the 4th to the 11th of March on the Heritage Caravan 2023. Pack your bags and let's set off on this spectacular tour from Greater Accra through to the Volta region, through to Eastern region, Ashanti region, Upper East region, Savannah region, Northern region, through to Northeast, Bono region, Ahafo region, Bono East region, Western North, Western region, and the Central region of Ghana. A journey full of fun, education, information, wonderful memories, and great bonding moments await you on the Heritage Caravan 2023. The Heritage Caravan 2023 is powered by Citi TV in partnership with the Ghana Tourism Authority, with support from Citi FM and proudly sponsored by Hollad Ghana, the European Union, Malta Guinness, Ebony Condoms, Royal Company Limited, National Lotteries Authority, Baltic Mineral Water, and Colgate Natural Extracts.
This Valentine's season, we are expressing our love and dedication to those who mean the most to us in ways that are unmistakable. Join us on the 14th of February at Peduasi Valley Resort for phenomenal meals and exhilarating music enjoyed under the starry night skies. This is sure to turn a spark into a roaring flame. Don't miss out on our Treasure and Moonlight packages that run from the 13th to the 16th of February to absolutely melt your partner's heart and show just how much you care. Love brewed in the valley just got sweeter. For inquiries, please call 0540-125-555 or 0540-125-554. Peduasi Valley Resort. Live life.
From here to the moon.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, more than 24 hours after Turkish sources reported that Ghanaian footballer Christian Atsu had been rescued from the earthquake wreckage, no contact has been established with him. We are joined in studio by the head of sport for Citi FM and Citi TV, Benjamin Nketia. For more, Benjamin, what have you been picking so far? Because yesterday we heard from the ambassador. At least we were all assured that he had been found.
Yeah.
What has changed in the last 24 hours?
Well, let me just take you through what has happened so far. We initially got the news from journalist Yaki Sabunkoglu that Atsu and his sporting director Tane have been missing since the earthquake happened. Now, what basically happened was that they have accounted for everybody else in their club except these two people. Now, he first broke the news that Atsu was missing in the rubble following the earthquake and revealed later that he had been pulled out alive. Now, this was obviously corroborated by the Ghanaian ambassador, and she further went on to say that she had been given assurances by the Foreign Affairs Ministry that Atsu was indeed alive and had been taken to a medical facility. But so far, which particular medical facility holds the player is what has raised a lot of questions. Now, again, the journalist who broke the news, he said he spoke to Hattiespoor's vice president, which is Mustafa Ozatun. That's where his source is coming from. Now, 24 hours after a lot has happened, nobody has been able to contact Atsu as things stand now. Nobody knows which facility he is in. And his agent, Nana Setre, who is based in London, revealed through his social media that he's also not been able to contact Achu, and I'm quoting from him. He says, following yesterday's update from the club that Achu had been pulled out alive, we are still yet to confirm Christian's whereabouts. As you can imagine, this continues to be a devastating time for his family, and we are doing everything we can to locate Christian. Official sources will be provided as more information come to light. Please respect the family's privacy during these harrowing times and refrain from spreading unsubstantiated news, as this will only hamper the search efforts for Christian. Now, if you move on further from that, Achu's manager, Volkan Demiro, who's typically based in Istanbul, went to the Hatay area. He returned to Istanbul and spoke to a journalist named Suleiman Arat. Now, according to Suleiman Arat, Achu, since the update, not been identified in any health facility, and Demiro told Arat that both Achu and Taner Savut are still unaccounted for, and that if they had been found, the media would have been updated. Now, Demiro went on to say that he had spoken to his own club directors for over 4 hours on the whereabouts of Achu and Savut and could confirm that they are unaccounted for despite the earlier reports. Now, another update is that Hatia Sports club director or club doctor has been speaking. The club doctor goes by name Gube Kavechi. Now, he has also given an update. He spoke with a media outlet named Harriet Turkey. He says, and I quote, "When we heard the news that he was taken to the Dotior hospital, we went and looked, but he was not there. At the moment, we accept that Achu and Savut were not found." Now, this particular update was as at Monday night, and so a lot is still ongoing. But what's the latest is that we are really relying on Volkan Demiro's account. He is Achu's coach. Kavechi is Achu's team director, and all of them are saying so far that no health facility or any facility in Turkey have recorded the Ghanaian footballer being brought in. So that's where we currently are.
So Yages, who is the Turkish journalist, has not updated us yet.
Yages has not updated anything yet. He says that they are all waiting on the club to officially make a statement. Now, note that the club have been speaking to various media outlets but have not yet put out a statement debunking or affirming anything so far.
We can only pray and hope that we find Christian Achu. That was City Sports head Benjamin Nketia. Kweku will bring us our next story.
Now, President of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi, is urging churches and other not-for-profit organizations seeking support from international donor agencies to come up with viable projects that will yield enough financial returns. According to him, international donor agencies funding large projects have come up with a social enterprise investment model that requires them to assess the impact of projects before they commit to funding. Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi spoke at the launch of the Catholic Relief Services Ghana Local Leadership Strategy and Capacity Building Workshop here in Accra.
During this meeting, the donor partners that we had here today were all present, or many of them. And this is where they opened up to us, bishops who were there, how you can access funds, how it will also work for us and with us. One of the things that came up over the very first place was what they call the social enterprise investments. In addition to grants which few donor agencies were willing to give to the church at that time, they were also talking about social enterprise investment where some of the donor partners will be willing to give soft loans. And it was a new avenue that was introduced to us. They didn't say that donor partners would dry up completely. They will still be there. But we will be able to do more if we look at these new opportunities. Now, for us to take advantage of these things, they suggested that we have the capacity.
So you have there the president of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi. Now, the National Petroleum Authority (NPA) says it has stepped up efforts in ensuring safety in the industry following the atomic gas explosion in 2017. Speaking at this year's Institution of Occupational Safety and Health West Africa Conference, CEO of NPA, Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, said his outfit has improved training for its monitoring and inspection directorates across the country. He added that the NPA was concerned about ensuring safety in the downstream petroleum sector, stressing that it is committed to reducing accidents to zero levels.
In terms of the distribution network, we have currently on our roads, and I'll use the ordinary term, 4,450 tankers that are crisscrossing the length and breadth of our country distributing petroleum products. And each one of them is registered. In other words, no BRV or tanker carries petroleum products on our road which is unknown to the National Petroleum Authority. And this is supposed to help us to monitor the safety of these BRVs. The last time we had a major incident in this country involving an LPG filling station was the one at Atomic. And since then, we've tried to keep accidents in the industry at basically zero levels. And that is because we have ramped up the training of our inspections, monitoring, and health and safety directorates.
The Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, speaking.
Now, the Association of Oil Marketing Companies has taken issue with government's handling of the gold for oil policy. The association has just issued a statement, and my colleague Umaru Sandamadu joins us in studio to tell us more. Sanda, what are the OMC saying?
Hello, Hawa. Well, you do know that the government, in a bid to deal with the depreciation of the cedi, introduced the gold for oil program or policy, which it said was going to be assisting the cedi to appreciate. So our gold reserves or our gold will be purchased there by the Bank of Ghana. That gold will be given to a company that has oil, and that company will give us its oil. In the circumstance where the company does not accept gold, we would have to send the gold to a third party who would buy the gold and then give the money to the oil company for the oil company to send it over. The first consignment of 40,000 tons arrived a few weeks ago. We've been talking about it a lot. Now, the OMCs, that's the oil marketing companies, the fuel stations that we see in town, they have taken issue, and they issued a statement under their letterhead, Association of Oil Marketing Companies, and signed by Kwekwa Jimanduya, who is the industry coordinator. They are complaining about discrimination. If you notice, the plan by government is for the BOG to buy the fuel using our gold. That fuel is shipped by Bost to Tema. Then Bost will give it to Goil, which is the state's company or a company that the state has an interest in, and then it will go ahead and sell. So they say that this is discriminatory, and because the money or the gold that is used to buy the fuel is public funds, everybody should benefit. They do not understand why we are having to send the products to only one company. They think it's discriminatory, and it doesn't even work well for the market space. And this is a complaint that they are issuing. They are saying that they don't have a challenge with the legality of the deal, but they have a difficulty with the discrimination. If you look at the last but 2 points, they say in the circumstances while the gold for oil program is itself legally justified per conception, its implementation process raises serious issues of discrimination against some licensed actors in the downstream petroleum industry, given its covert use of product access as a means of attaining the ends of the pricing fixing. The resultant discrimination against some licensed actors who are unable to access the limited quantity of product is wrong and could accordingly be questioned. So this is exactly what they are questioning in this statement that they've issued, Howard.
Very well, most grateful for your time, Umaru Sanda Amadu, bringing us details of a statement issued by Association of Oil Marketing Companies on the gold for oil policy by the government. And that's how we end today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios in Adabraka, Accra. The news was also live on all our partner stations across the country. My name is Hawa Idrisu, and I was here with
Kweku Ediamansa.
Many thanks for your company. Do have a great afternoon.
Citi 97.3.